My influence was probably from my brothers, listening to their music. It was like, you know, Beatles, Rolling Stones, until I got my own flavour, which was Small Faces. Big Stevie Marriott fan, and still am. Didn't do much musically in Dublin. I moved to Birmingham around 1970. I got into bands over there first, just sort of doing pubs, etc., etc. For about 5 years, doing social clubs, all cover stuff. And then I moved to London in 1975 and joined a band called Snatch, rock band. Around 76 was things that the old punk thing started, and that was basically the end of rock music for a while. But I kept playing away. Snatch never got a record deal. And then around 1980, I answered an advert, melody maker, and met a guy called Jeff Summers. And we formed a band called Weapon. That was in March of 1980, and by October 80, we'd had a publishing deal with Virgin Records, and we're offered a 32-date tour with Motorhead, the Ace Up Your Sleeve tour, which took us all over the UK, ending with 4 nights at Hammersmith Odeon, 4 sellout nights. Had a double A-side single called Mad Mad World and Set a Stage Alight, which got to number 2 on the Sounds heavy metal charts. Band continued for about 2 years, and then usual shit, you know, crap management, blah 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 blah. We imploded, and I had about a year off, and then I formed Paddy Goes to Holyhead. So actually, when we formed Paddy Goes to Holyhead, we used to go to a place in Twickenham called a Turk's Head on a Sunday lunchtime. This is how the band was formed. I was seeing a Canadian girl at the time, Sandra, and we were watching the band there, and there was some friends of ours were having a birthday party coming up. 2 or 3 of them said, "Oh, you know, we got to have a disco." And me and Max said, "We know enough musicians. Let's get a band together." It was actually this Canadian girl and called it Paddy Goes to Holyhead. I think the lineup that night was obviously myself and vocals, Brenda Finglas, Jimmy Gaynor, Mal McNulty, who now lead singer with Slade. Some drummer called Herman. That's all I ever knew of this. Who else was there? Guy called Ian Simmons, who was in the 2nd edition of Weapon. I can't remember after that. Anyway, it was supposed to be just a one-off, and then we started doing gigs at what's it called?
Greyhound, wasn't it?
No, the Bull. Actually, the Bull in East Sheen. We started doing Sunday lunchtimes there. I think you and Jimmy went off to Spain or something.
That's right.
So that's how you guys were replaced. And I replaced it with Jeff Summers, who now plays me in Weapon. Jeff Brown, who's went on to Slade. No, I beg your pardon. He went on to the Sweet, the Tremolos, who he's still playing with. Who else was in it? Again, Mal McNulty. And over the years then, I had various musicians, because most of the guys that played in the initial lineup of Paddy went on to become members of the Sweet. First to me then, this is how the connection with the Sweet comes in. I knew Andy Scott through a record label, and he's got the guitars of the Sweet. And he produced some early Weapon stuff for me. And then when I had Paddy going together, we decided to record Green and Grass at Home and Delilah, so the rock versions of it, which you can find on YouTube.
Saw the light on the night that I passed by her window. I saw the my mind. My Delilah. I was waiting across the street to her house and she opened the door. She stood there laughing. I stuck a knife in my hand. She laughed no more.
And Andy produced that for me and done some backup vocals. And we started playing again, and he wasn't doing anything with the suite. They were off the road for quite a while. So he used to come and guest with us sometimes, and then eventually I got him into the band. He was with us about 3-4 years, I think, which was obviously a great boost for us to have someone of his calibre in. Then we also had a keyboard player from Uriah Heep, Phil Lanson, who's still with Uriah Heep. And then for a 3-month period, we had the drummer from the suite, Mick Tucker, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And the whole idea of the band was it was all musicians that, when they weren't working with their own bands, they'd come and guest for us. So there's probably been maybe 60, 80 musicians over the years. And I kept the band, went for 30 years, until last year we called time for a while. So I said we've done that recording, and the other musicians I had in was John Fraser Binney, who plays with a metal band called Rogue Male, and a really close friend Terry Horbury, who played with Vardis. He was with me for 9 years, who sadly passed away in December from cancer. So we actually finished as Paddy Goes to Holyhead last St. Patrick's Day in 2015, but when Terry passed away, we had a party for him in London this February gone, and had a sort of reunion, and there's probably 8 to 10 old musicians, including Pete Bullock from Northern Ireland, who plays with Deborah Bonham, his wife. So yeah, just a host of stuff, and we travelled all over the UK, Europe, Paddy, and as I say, Weapon imploded, and then In 2005 we were invited to play the Headbangers Ball in Germany. So we reformed the original lineup for that. Say in 2005 that we got back together the original lineup, which was Jeff Summers, who's still in the band. Bruce Bislin, the drummer, he's been with Sweet now for about 28 years and still with them. And my good friend from Birmingham, Baz Downs, who sadly's got an illness and couldn't play with us. So after that festival, there was a lot of interest in the band. So we said, well, maybe we should go and try some recording again. So the other two guys couldn't do it, so me and Jeff got a new lineup together. And in 2010 we started working seriously on it. Recorded a new album called Rising from the Ashes. And that got amazing reviews, thank God. Ching ching.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Your copy, Brendan.
That's very nice, yeah.
And we started touring again over the last 2-3 years. Europe, we just finished the European tour in October, November. Germany, Netherlands, Holland, Belgium, and I'm actually in the middle of a UK tour at the moment. Just having a few days off, that's why I'm in Ireland.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah.
But
He's up in Newcastle.
we're in Newcastle, we done Brofest on last Sunday night, which is a 3-day festival, some 30 bands. But yeah, out through the years, you know, the Paddy thing, Mac, Baird as you call him, we played an awful lot of London dates, and he would always, because we used to go to the St. Moritz Club in Soho, and he'd always pick up Scandinavian girls there, which he would bring to the gigs on the Sunday morning. So having all these beautiful girls coming there, you'd start getting lots of guys coming, because he always knew there was going to be a bevy of beauties there. And Mac, of course, would be holding court for all these girls. So we ended up getting a huge following. I don't think it was anything to do with our talent. It was all to do with the Scandinavian girls. So yeah, we had great times with Mac, and sadly, you know, in 1996, he moved into the apartment below me in West Kensington, and we had Christmas Day together in our apartment, and he sort of went missing for a couple of days, and I had a gig on New Year's Eve at the Redback in Acton Town, and went and done my sound check, came back to have dinner with my now wife. And Mac's sister Dowie ringing me saying, I haven't seen Mac for a few days, blah blah blah, you know, so went down and got into his flat and sadly found him dead. Dead a couple of days. He's 50 years of age, had a great life, and
He's a great guy. You life and soul of the bird.
he's a great guy.
Great personality.
The thing was, when we about 2 months before he died, we were at Phil Innett's roadie, Big Charlie, Scottish guy, at his funeral, which was a great funeral. He played Sid Vicious did it my way. And Max said, when I die, he said, I want you to play the Greenleaf Grass at home. Our recording of it, which is a bit weird. So we took him home. So we had a big gig in the King's Head in Fulham High Street for him, for all our musician friends. And then we flew over to Dublin with him. And when we buried him, we had the Greenleaf Grass at home as his coffin went down. And I had an envelope with an Irish pound and an English pound in it. Because everywhere I went with Mac, we'd get a taxi. And at the end of the night, he'd jump out of the taxi, no matter how much it cost, stick £2 in my hand and do a bleeding runner. I'd end up having to pay the rest of it. So I stuck it in the envelope. That was his £2 taxi to wherever he was going, to the sound of the green grass at home. So God bless him, wherever he is. Mac Bernard McGarry.
Well, do you have any regrets, Danny?
Not really, you know. I've had a, you know, I'm still singing, you know, of sorts. I really haven't got any regrets. I mean, management-wise, sometimes you make the wrong decisions, and sadly done it twice. But overall, no, I've had a great life, and I'm still enjoying, you know, still recording and still touring. So.
And you have it. You're married again, I know that. Didn't you?
Yeah, I met a beautiful Swedish girl. not through Mac, I hasten to add,
As I
to another
step
friend.
down
And we married 19 years ago, and 8 years ago moved to Sweden. And we
is
had
my
a
mama
nice
and my papa.
I have a good life. I'm healthy, alive.
Down the lane I love, and there runs Mary. Hair of gold and lips like cherry. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. The old house is still standing, although the paint is cracked and dry. And there's that old oak tree that I used to play on. Down the lane I walk with my sweet Mary. Hair of gold and lips like cherry. Good to touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they all come to see me. Arms are reaching, smiling sweetly. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they all come to see me. Arms are reaching, smiling sweetly. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Then I'll wake and I look around me. 4 green walls that surround me. And I realize, yeah, I was only a dreamer. Oh, there's a God and there's a shadow padre. Arm in arm we'll walk at daybreak. Again I'll touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they're all come to meet me. Arms are reaching, smiling sweetly. It's good to touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they're all come to meet me. Arms are reaching, smiling sweetly. It's good to touch the green, green grass.